So apparently, Star Wars Empire at War servers are back. Could other games see revivals like this? So what I know about this from actually Dan, do you wanna take this one on, Mr. Dan Sullivan?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I'll have a little chat about it. So, I've not actually played the Star Wars Empire at War games, although I was a massive fan of RTSs, or I still am actually. And this is always held in high regard. Basically, it was a very popular RTS, and then the servers got shut down because that's what happens to old games, old multiplayer games. They get put out on the farm, and you can only play the single player campaign after that. But completely out of the blue, Disney have announced that they're going to reactivate the multiplayer servers, and they're back online after a lot of player demand, which is really really impressive and really cool. I remember a few years ago when I first started writing about games back in 2011. Every month there was a list published by EA of which servers were going to be shut down and when, because they were going through and killing off all of the 2007 and 2008 version of games, because it had been about 5 years since they came out, and it was the same console. Yeah, it was kind of the 360 servers and such. And, it just became this thing that you looked at and you looked out for every week or sorry, every month or every 2 months, kind of like, oh, Fight Night Round 2 has had its server shut down. Oh, FIFA this has had its server shut down. It was awful. It was like all of these old, obviously annual games being put out to die. And the fact that Disney, who have been pitched as a rather heartless publisher previously, with the fact that they suddenly dropped all of their development studios and just started licensing everything out, have brought this back. In my opinion, this bodes really well.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, my personal opinion on this is that I think if companies are going to take servers offline and things like that. They should. I personally think, well, they're taking them offline, so they obviously don't care anymore, right? So why don't they just, maybe just do a little bit of work, clean the code up, and let people have it.
Oh, what is in like just where someone can run the server on?
Yeah,
a
just
PC
go.
they've got.
We don't want to run it anymore because it's costing us money and the player base isn't really there. But we know, maybe they know that there is a small section of hardcore players that still play it. Just, find, even if they don't just let it out on the internet, have a quick search on the internet, find a community of players that are still playing that game, and go, here you go, here's the server software, run it up on a VM, carry on playing. See, because what you find is, this is something that I still have experience with now because I play with my son every now and again, is World of Warcraft. Now, I don't like paying for World of Warcraft. I used to, for a period of 6 months. I got addicted to it, but managed to get out before my bank account got emptied. But me and my sons will still play occasionally, but we'll play on third-party servers because someone, at some point managed to get hold of the server software of World of Warcraft, and there are hundreds upon hundreds of private World of Warcraft servers that you don't have to pay for. Usually they've got experience boosters so you level up massively quicker than you would do in the vanilla game, and it actually ends up being a better experience, and you can just drop in and drop out whenever you want and not worry about, oh, have I got my $7.99's worth of the gaming in this month before I pay for it again. You can just play it whenever you want, like a normal goddamn game. So and obviously, like on Steam, a lot of the time on Steam you'll buy a new game and then all of a sudden you look in your software list and you look down the list, oh, there's a private server that I can run on my PC. They should do this for more games.
Well, to bring it back to Empire at War, my question would be is how much did it cost to run this game to begin with? I mean, what was the server? I don't think. I'm a little bit more of a skeptical view on this because I don't think Disney's as good as a good guy as we think in this case. I think it was just, well, this isn't going to cost us anything anymore, so sure, let's throw them this breadcrumb and make ourselves look better. I think that's what this is.
To be honest, from what my experience of working with servers and things like that for massive companies, for a game like Star Wars Empires, to run a server for 1,000 players would not cost you much at all.
Right.
The amount of data being throughput is not much, and the amount of actual power that would need to run it is is very small as well. You could get away with it wouldn't be physical anymore. It'd be a virtual server somewhere in the world, but you could get away with a single physical server for up to 1,000 players easy on a game like that.
And how old is Empires at War? How old of a game is it? Like, when was that released? Nobody knows. Got it.
I don't know.
Sorry, I never actually played this game.
Sorry. That was Mikey, wasn't it? 2006, I think it came out.
Yeah, so
2005.
It's probably just not as demanding as much as it used to be. So they're like, yeah, we could do this now on our mama's grand server,
Yeah, exactly. But again, I'll go back to my point. I think especially for the cases of preservation of gaming, which is seemingly getting a bit of support now in these late years. It should have been looked into years ago. But in the case of preservation, I think server software does need to be preserved alongside the game itself, because there are hundreds and hundreds of games that you cannot play without a server. Every MMO that's come out.
With that said, I completely agree with you, Terry. I want to see City of Heroes come back. I think I missed that game very much.
Oh god, I remember playing City Heroes. Not for very long, but
It was a great, fun game. It was so creative and it was completely original. And yes, I think more games deserve this kind of treatment. They do deserve to come back. And yeah, but I don't know. As far as giving out the code goes, isn't there too many legalities and all that?
I've just looked this up. There are plenty of City of Heroes private servers already out there, so the software is out in the wild.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
There you go. But I think it needs to happen more, and it needs to happen officially. You can go down the whole route of we're not supporting this in any way, shape, or form. We're not going to look after it. But here you go. If you want to set up a server to play with your mates, go for it. Because I actually looked into it for World of Warcraft. So when my son was playing it, to run a single server for just say me and my two boys, I could run it on a VM with 2 gig of RAM, only like a gigahertz virtual processor. It was super, super tiny. If you want to run a private server just to play with, up to 10 of your friends, it's going to be such small requirement to run that server.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can pick up PCs that have like dual core hyper-thread i3s in, as you said, with like 2 gig or 4 gig of RAM, and that'll just run it no problem. I mean, obviously you can't overload it with multiple things, but if you give it that one thing to do, it will do it fine. But yeah, as you said, it needs to be more sort of done by the developers, I guess. They need to have more of a part in it.
So what games do you miss any games in particular, the Dans?
None particularly myself. I usually stuck mostly to single player experiences of games. I was never very much an online gamer. I didn't get internet until quite late into playing games, I guess. So that probably didn't help it really.
I must admit, the thing that I miss most is not a particular game server, and it's more a full service, and that was GameSpy. If anyone ever remembers GameSpy.
Oh my god, that's old.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
But see, but with that, there is a lot of games that multiplayer will only work with GameSpy. So you can't play multiplayer on them anymore, and it's not down to a single individual game server. It's an entire service is down that took out tons and tons of games, and that's probably what I miss the most, because that was sort of when I started playing online games, was GameSpy stuff.
They need to do this for Star Wars Galaxies, the original one, not the new crappy one they made after the post patch. But yeah, that would be sweet.
Them's fighting words.
What?
I've heard good things about the new one, actually. But while we're at that point, I think that Matrix Online, I know that there's some people out there running a fan server, but yeah, if all of a sudden 4 or 5 servers cropped up for that, and someone even managed to get running community events again, that could be pretty, something special.
Yeah, sorry, just on that point as well, I just again looked it up, and I looked up Star Wars Galaxy's private server, and my first link was a link to the top 100 private servers for Star Wars Galaxies, the original one. So yeah, there's plenty out there if you want to play.
So like in an official capacity is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like I said with the Warcraft stuff, so because they've got control over everything, some of the changes they make to it actually make the game more enjoyable. The original World of Warcraft was a massive grind fest, but because they crank it up to like 8 times experience, you can start blasting through the games and get to the good end game content really quickly. So in a lot of ways, it can actually enhance the experience.
It's a cool thing. Hopefully, the dream is that more companies will do this, but the question is will they? And I don't really know, because it does cost some pennies, but it is pennies, so these companies are kind of cheap.
Yeah.
Agreed. Completely agree.